7 laps then ahead of them for the restart, the red flag and the red light. When that goes to green, and watch Jamie Whittam, number 5 on the Suzuki from the front row this time, who fairly bulleted away into 3rd place. Thought it was 2nd, it was 3rd, because Morrison went to the front. Number 6, Brian Morrison, leads again. And his teammate, John Reynolds, again is boxed in down there in 4th place. Jamie Whittam on the Team Grant Suzuki number 5 had a great start into 3rd, but Rob McElnay, reigning champion, who was having a tremendous ride in part 1 of this race, has had an equally good start into 2nd place. Morrison then leads McElnay. Also, Mark Farmer on the Roton, riding number 46, had a good start from the 2nd row. The 2 Nortons are well placed in there in 5th and 6th places. So Morrison, number 6, leads. McElnay, number 1, in 2nd. Then it's Jamie Whittam. Then it's John Reynolds. And then closely in pursuit, the 2 Nortons, numbers 23, Terry Reimer, and 20, Robert Dunlop, respectively. Reynolds then already past the Suzuki of Jamie Whittam up to 3rd place. Kawasaki leads, Yamaha leads Kawasaki. Well, a fairly incident-packed first half, Steve. Is this going to be just as quick in the 2nd bit?
Well, it is, but John Reynolds has the work all to do again. He's got to pass Rob McElnay, so he actually finished up half a second in front of Brian Morrison, so he needs to be very close behind Brian Morrison to take the overall win of this leg, so he's got work to do. I think he can pass Rob McElnay, albeit we only have 6 laps remaining, so it's a very short race. So he hasn't got to hang around too long, and then once he's passed Rob McElnay, he's then got to close on Brian Morrison. He doesn't necessarily have to be past Brian Morrison. Following him closely within 20 or 30 metres would give him the overall win.
Now, watch this. The speed of the Kawasaki. Is it going to go for it? It's alongside and rockets through on the inside. So Reynolds has gone past McElnay, up into 2nd place. And as Steve Parrish said, he now has to set about hanging on to the shirt tails, or rather getting past Brian Morrison, his teammate number 6, who's in front. So the captions as they appear will give the aggregate position, so it is the actual position that you are looking at. No, that's Jamie Whittam, that's Whittam on the grass. Jamie Whittam hard into the tyre wall, but he's up on his feet and no doubt kicking himself, leaving the bike there. He was lucky to get away with that one.
He was. Fortunately, he hit the tyre wall with the full length of his body, so it didn't do him too much damage. But we heard from Jamie Whittam, he gives it his best, and he certainly gave it his best there, but he just couldn't. It was on the gooseneck. It's an 80-mile-an-hour corner. He just got on the grass, nothing he could do, and he did the best thing. He laid the bike down. Here it comes now. He's coming to the corner. He's got it wrong before he gets there. He gets on the grass. He can see he's going towards the wall, so he lays the bike down now, gets off of it. It's the only thing to do. Unfortunately, as you saw, he hit the tyre wall very flatly, and so he didn't go in there feet first and do any serious damage.
Well, a fairly heart-stopping moment for young Jamie Whittam there, and equally so for us here at the commentary point. These 2 Kawasaki teamsters are scrapping out tooth and nail, and that was a carbon copy passing manoeuvre. That's exactly how John Reynolds took Brian Morrison in the first encounter, and in this, the 2nd half of the race, Reynolds is now out in front again, but equally so Rob McElnay is just as quick. Terry Reimer's now been elevated to 4th place, so number 23, the all-black Norton and all-black clad Terry Reimer in 4th place. Then Robert Dunlop, and number 46, Mark Farmer from Crawley on the other Roton. So there you have 3 rotary engine machines in the bottom 6. So Mark Farmer has now gone ahead. So Mark Farmer, the man in the front of your shot now riding number 46, has gone up into 5th place ahead of Robert Dunlop. So this young man really coming to terms with this rotary engine machine and justifying the commitment and the faith that Brian Crichton has put in him riding it. An astonishing performance.
Yeah, terrific performance. A lot of people said that the Roton doesn't work. It has the old type twin shock absorbers as opposed to the monoshock single shock suspension system. Everyone said it doesn't work, but Mark Farmer's doing a great job on it here this afternoon. Number 46, Mark Farmer, he's really pushing hard.
There's been a degree of collaboration between the Norton concern and Brian Crichton, who was the original Norton technical development man, in fact, who built the number 46 bike. They have been very, very useful towards Brian Crichton, and in fact have loaned him some very special engine parts, and that's resulted in suddenly the blue Roton almost being on par, and in fact certainly appearing to be almost a match for the factory Nortons on this occasion, definitely. And Mark Farmer now is in 5th place and has got Terry Reimer in his sights.
Yeah, he has. We're now looking at number 23, Terry Reimer, who is back on the pace. But John Reynolds has now gone round in a 1:29.23. He's virtually equalled the lap record once again, so he's straight back on the pace. It's quite incredible. I'm surprised that Brian Morrison led him through that last time. I mean, it was a carbon copy of the first half of the race, and at the same spot, John Reynolds is so fast as they go up through Charlie's Corner there. He really is riding superbly.
Further down the order then, there's a battle between David Jeffries, number 35, number 30 there also very much in the frame, and number 10, that's Jeremy McWilliams. So Sean Emmett, number 30, the man who's riding Dean Ashton's bike, and Sean Emmett very, very capable on the 600cc, and in fact leading the 600 Supersports class, definitely. Well, Ian Simpson was leading the class until injured himself in practice here. Sean Emmett in with a chance now of winning the championship, has turned to the 750 midway through the season, had a brilliant ride at Mallory Park in the 750, and is going well here ahead of Jeremy McWilliams, who's riding the Oxford Products Alec Hammond bike, which Trevor Nation started to ride at the beginning of the season. The number 10 Ducati, now ridden by Jeremy McWilliams, is tucked in the back of Sean Emmett, but the lap record, the quickest man around here without a doubt at all, John Reynolds on the Kawasaki.
Yeah, John Reynolds just obliterating the lap record, but Sean Emmett going extremely well on the 750. And I have to say that Jeremy McWilliams on the ex-Trevor Nation Ducati, rising the 250 class, jumps off of a small, tiny, lightweight 250 onto the big 750 Ducati here, and really doing a great job. I think he's a man to be watching on the big 750s.
David Jeffries, number 35, young David Jeffries, having his first 750cc season, is the man at the tail end of this little trio. And all these riders are on 750s really for the first time in this 1992 season, or rather it's their first season on 750s, and they're going really well indeed. They are currently lying in 7th, 8th and 9th places respectively. So the 7th place man, number 30, Sean Emmett, leading Jeremy McWilliams. Caller there, number 49, out of the running, and that's Stuart Nicholson from North Yorkshire, North Allerton in fact. But Sean Emmett, the motorcycle journalist from Camberley in Surrey, just 22 years of age, number 30, is leading the big beefy V-twin Ducati.
Across, and we're back to John Reynolds, number 3, who is just out in his own 29.1 minute, 29.43, well in with the lap records here at the moment. Lap 14 and 15 laps, and look at the distance he's pulled out on Brian Morrison. He's now 3.34 seconds in front. He is just cruising. At the moment, this man can't do a thing wrong.
This is round 4 of the Supercup Championship, and of the last 6 races, John Reynolds has won 4. No score at all at Donington. He broke down and fell off respectively in the 2 legs, but since then has never looked back, taking a maximum from each of the remaining 4 races. And Mark Farmer, number 46 on the Roton, stretching out ahead of Robert Dunlop, number 20 on the second of the 2 Nortons. Then comes the charging bunch with Sean Emmett, number 30, ahead of Jeremy McWilliams, who's growing in stature on the Italian V-twin Ducati. And of course, the Ducati does have an awful lot of punch, and there are limits within the class. It's allowed to be a lighter machine, is that right?
Well, in Superbike, in the Supercup series here, there is no weight restriction so much, but in World Superbike, the twin-cylinder Ducati can not only be lighter, it can have more capacity. It can run up to 1000cc, which this one we're seeing here today, number 10, Jeremy McWilliams, is an 888 machine, so it's a much bigger engine, but because it's twin-cylinder, that's allowed, as opposed to the 4-cylinder Japanese. So we're now on the last lap. John Reynolds, number 3, he's away. The man is just riding so well. The bike is working so well. There can't be a good bike and a bad rider, and a bad rider and a good bike. It has to be the combination, and we're looking at it. Number 3, John Reynolds.
Well, this will move John Reynolds, who currently sits on 80 points. This will move him on to 100. Terry Reimer, meanwhile, in the 4th place, will inherit 13 points. He is currently sitting on 100, so he will move on to 113. So it's certainly going to go down to the next race, and maybe even one more before John Reynolds can actually say that the championship is his, because Terry Reimer, number 23 on the Norton, is just chipping away, scoring the points, having had a double maximum in the opening round at Donington, and is not going to surrender that easily to this man Reynolds, number 3. Although I have to say the Kawasaki looks particularly devastating, beautifully turned out. The whole crew here at Cadwell have got their act together in a very professional manner indeed. And Colin Wright, the team manager, standing trackside, rubbing his hands with glee as the checkered flag goes out for John Reynolds. Being waved as well for teammate Brian Morrison goes over the line. Then it's Rob McElnay. And 4th place goes to Terry Reimer, who retains the championship lead. 5th place to Mark Farmer, but John Reynolds, number 3, a very worthy winner here at Cadwell. There it is then. On aggregate, Reynolds from Morrison, Rob McElnay, a great ride for the Yamaha man, Terry Reimer, Farmer and Dunlop. Those rotary engines were very quick here. The stage is set for the second 750cc confrontation here at Cadwell, and it promises to be something very special indeed, with Terry Reimer anxious to defend that slender margin over the 2 Kawasaki men. Teammate Robert Dunlop, McElnay and Jamie Whittam, who's rebuilt his bike after a pretty big prang, is still there. And much to our surprise, Whittam is back on the 2nd row, but Reynolds still in pole. Morrison, McElnay and the 2 Norton men, Reimer and Dunlop, complete the front row. It is in fact a depleted lineup because there are 1 or 2 non-starters, but an absolutely cracking start from the 2nd row by the number 5 Suzuki of Jamie Whittam, who scythes round the outside at Coppice and slots into 3rd place behind Terry Reimer. So Jamie Whittam, number 5, having survived that prang. The bike was absolutely smashed to bits and pieces, and much to our amazement, James Whittam turned up on the line. That's the only bike they've got, and Steve, a lot of work will have gone into the rebuilding of that. Yeah, there certainly will. Butch the mechanic will have been working frantically. It's not just putting all the panel work back on. You have to check to see if the chassis is straight, if the wheels are straight, and that was a very expensive crash. The bike cartwheeled and bits and pieces got busted up, so that will have been a real major change of everything, including swinging arms, forks and everything you can think of. Well, it doesn't seem to have dampened the ardour of Jamie Whittam, who's just slotted up into 3rd place, splitting the 2 Nortons. And Robert Dunlop, number 20, challenging back on the inside as they go up towards the foot of the mountain, but Whittam going in on the brakes, and no, has to settle for 4th. Out in front, though, a really flying start. Terry Reimer in 2nd place. In 3rd place, it's the Norton. Then it's Jamie Whittam, number 5. Brian Morrison leads. His teammate, John Reynolds, number 3, is way down in 6th place. Jamie Whittam then having a bit more of a cautious ride. I don't know if cautious is a word I can use to describe the 25-year-old flyer from Huddersfield. He and Mick Grant, the team boss, have really clicked in this 92 season. And if the Suzuki were just a little bit quicker, and that's no criticism of the mechanics or indeed the team itself, it's just that the Suzuki design is maybe just a little bit dated now. Well, this is actually their new bike, the new water-cooled bike, and I think they're still trying to develop it. They changed the machine at the beginning of this year, and you can see Rob McElnay having a look. It's not that slow because McElnay's Yamaha was unable to pass him up the back there, but now you can see there's John Reynolds who's scything his way through. Number 3, John Reynolds. He's just slotted up past McElnay, but McElnay's got the inside line. Yes, he's held it. John Reynolds has been pretty forceful there. Now he's got his sights set on number 5, Jamie Whittam. But John Reynolds just doesn't seem to be able to get that Kawasaki off the line. He probably doesn't need to, the speed he's lapping at, but you can see the work he's got to do to catch Brian Morrison. He's got a lot to make up. Number 3 then in 5th place, the green Kawasaki of the man who is in 2nd place in the championship, John Reynolds, 13 points behind Terry Reimer, number 23, the first of the 2 black Nortons in this race as they rocket over the mountain. And number 46, Mark Farmer on the Roton, who had a very creditable 5th place in the first outing, is right there in the hunt as well. There's Jeremy McWilliams on the Alec Hammond Ducati, the Oxford Products bike, And having just climbed off at 250 from a good ride in the 250cc race, Jeremy McWilliams showing us just how versatile he is. Robert Dunlop, number 20. Then it's John Reynolds, number 3. Then Jamie Whittam from Huddersfield on the Suzuki. Hasn't dampened his ardour one bit. His flair is just as bright as it was in leg 1, leading right off the bike and giving it 150%. Reynolds, though, in 4th place, has got Dunlop and Terry Reimer both in his sights.
Yeah, well, we saw the speed before of that Kawasaki, but now he's got the Nortons to pass. Now we're looking at number 5, Jamie Whittam, Rob McElhenney, number 1, right behind him. So there's a battle going on there for 5th and 6th, but John Reynolds is going to be the man, I think, charging. Whittam's style, you can see him really hanging his body off. He gets right off the machine, trying to keep it as upright as possible to give it a bit more tyre grip. Each rider has their own style, but Whittam is quite an extrovert as far as his style's concerned.
Well, number 3, John Reynolds, it's hard to believe that he had his first race. And number 14, a retirement there.
That's Matt Llewellyn.
Matt Llewellyn then from Glenfield in Leicester. So Matt Llewellyn out of it. I was about to say that number 3, John Reynolds, had his first race here as short a time ago as 1987, and that was a vintage race on a 250cc Velocet. And I have to say how times have changed. Here we are, 1992, and Reynolds is on the crest of the wave at the pinnacle of his UK profession, and is poised, I think, Steve, maybe for venturing into World Superbike.
I think that's what his aim is. He'd dearly like to get into the World Superbike, and he should be in World Superbike. He is riding so well at the moment. The bike he rides, the Kawasaki, is probably the most competitive, and there he uses this inside tight line again, but I don't know if he's very close, and he does it just the same as he did to Brian Morrison in the first leg. He's just so quick through the Charlie Spend there. So with the Nortons, he has to use his skill and expertise in the corners and under braking, because he doesn't have the advantage of power over the Norton, as the Norton actually is just as fast as the Kawasaki. Morrison putting in the fastest lap.
Well, that's interesting, because Brian Morrison leading the race, the number 6 rider on the other Kawasaki, teammate of this man who, and that's uncharacteristic to see John Reynolds in any sort of trouble.
Yeah, well, he's pushing hard. John realises that he's got a long way to go. Whilst Brian Morrison's out in front, he's got a clear road. He can put the fastest lap in, but I truly believe once John Reynolds gets into 2nd spot, if he can pass Terry Reimer, then we'll start seeing the times tumble even more.
Number 5, Jamie Whittam, then slipping further down the field. Mark Farmer, number 46 on the Roton, has gone ahead of James and is in pursuit of this man, number 1, Rob McElhenney, the 1991 champion. This is the duel then for 2nd place between Terry Reimer, who's hanging on to that 2nd place because he needs the points, and with it his championship lead. And it is all about the championship for these 2 men. The leader, Terry Reimer, on 113 points at this moment in time, and the man behind him has 100 points, and they are separated, if all this makes sense to you, by just 2 points in this race at this moment in time, because Reimer is in a 17-point slot for 2nd, and Reynolds, number 3, is in a 15-point slot for 3rd. So this is going to go all the way to Alton Park, and maybe even beyond, who knows? Yes,
to the final round at Brands Hatch. But you saw there, John Reynolds was unable to make up much time on number 23, Terry Reimer, down the straight. He's got to do it on the corners, and he'll be pushing hard as they come down through the gooseneck. Yes, a very quick part of the course now, 120 miles now, braking into 3rd gear for the 80-mile-an-hour gooseneck. But now Reynolds has been looking at the inside line, I think, here. He'll be late on the brakes, and he's gone through. John Reynolds, number 3, nips through on the inside, a perfect manoeuvre, but that Kawasaki steer. But Terry Reimer's back on the power, and he has the line for the mountain section, so he's back through now. Reynolds will not be able to pass. Oh, and that's unbelievable. Nearly fetching them both off. That was a pretty silly move, I think, on John Reynolds' behalf. He went round the outside of Terry Reimer, nearly brought them both off, but nevertheless, they're both safely through, and Reynolds has got through into 2nd spot, but I wouldn't be so happy with that one.
Well, dear me, we've got to settle down here, because you saw that for yourselves. Reynolds is on the outside, chops back in, Terry Reimer drifting wide, and it couldn't get much more physical than that, could it? Down went Terry Reimer's left leg to keep things all in a line round the bottom of the mountain, and he won't be too thrilled. And that again is a bit uncharacteristic of John Reynolds, who is maybe looking just a little bit desperate.
Well, I think he's desperate to win the race, which he actually doesn't need to be. He obviously wants to be in front of Terry Rymer, and the more points he can amass, the better. But he was on the outside. Terry Rymer wouldn't even have seen him there. Terry was on the line, so I would put the blame on John Reynolds, but obviously he didn't mean to do that. In motorcycle racing, you don't mean to bump into someone because it can knock you off just as easily as knocking your opponent off.
Rob McElnay then is heading up a pretty frantic tussle between number 20, Robert Dunlop, and Mark Farmer on the Brian Crichton entered Roton, the number 46 bike. Mark Farmer, the Ulsterman, has really clicked with this bike. He put his leg across it at the tail end of last season, just for a couple of outings, then forgot all about the bike, and since then Brian Crichton has been doing other things with it, and he's had a variety of riders on board, including Tim Bourne as the official Roton rider. But in the tail end now, the autumn really, of the 1992 season, Mark Farmer was approached again to take up the cudgel and ride the Roton, and this is the man we're talking about, number 46, and he's doing an admirable job now, closing down the factory Norton of Robert Dunlop. And I think it's fair to say at this point that they do have Norton assistance in the motor on this Roton, so there is some collaboration between the two factions, and we're seeing the end result here. Very competitive rotary engine motorcycles indeed. Robert Dunlop then is looking like losing that 5th place to an extremely determined Mark Farmer. Rob McElnay, meanwhile, in 4th. The number 1 man is getting away.
Yeah, these two battling it down, but the engines are very similar, but the chassis is totally different on these two. One is made by Harris Performance, and the other by Spondon Engineering. Totally different chassis, but nearly doing the same job. Robert Dunlop, a great rider, and I personally put him as a 125 rider because of his size. He's very small, and this is a big, heavy machine, a very, very fast machine for a small guy to ride hard, but he does a great job.
Well, the race having settled just a little bit here, and we can now see that Reynolds well past Terry Rymer, who is looking as though he might just be slipping back into the clutches now of a determined Rob McElnay, number 1. At the bottom of the mountain, Rob McElnay is lining up Terry Rymer. It could be that that incident with John Reynolds unsettled the 25-year-old Londoner just a little bit there, because certainly he's lost his composure, and almost certainly Rob McElnay is closing.
He is. Now, John Reynolds is the man that really is charging. He's done a 28.74, so that's way under the lap record. He's really pushing hard, obviously determined. He doesn't want to finish second to his teammate. He wants the win as well as the points. Now we have a faller out of Coppice Corner.
Well, the rider being attended to there, that's where we've had 1 or 2 incidents during the course of the afternoon, but just the yellow flag being shown, that means that the riders can race on. The race will go on. No red flag as yet being shown, although the red flag coming out down here at the finish. The red flag going out, the race being stopped. This second 750 leg, just like the first, being stopped. Restart of the second leg of the 750s, 8 laps ahead of the riders then this time, and poor old John Reynolds has it all to do again. This is how they line up, it being the places they finished in at the end of the first part. Morrison, Reynolds, Rymer, McElnay, Dunlop, and Mark Farmer will just about be on the second row. We're looking for a good performance from Mark Farmer, because as each second goes by, he's becoming quicker and quicker and quicker on the Roton. But Morrison, the man who's got some good starts, but having said that, a cracking start from John Reynolds, number 3, who made absolutely no mistake this time. Terry Rymer has gone with him on the Norton, though. Terry Rymer, number 23, slotted into second. Reynolds' teammate Morrison is in third, but putting this one to bed in the first 150 yards, unless any other misfortune befalls him. John Reynolds, number 3, gets his nose out in front. Terry Rymer, though, seems to have got second wind. The Norton was very quick there. Coming up towards Park, Terry Rymer through on the inside. That's given John Reynolds something to think about. Almost running wide, Terry Rymer, but putting it down really clearly from the word go. The Londoner wants to win this one.
He really does, and that was a tremendous move down the inside of John Reynolds. John Reynolds being the fastest man here today. Terry's got the bit between his teeth. Reynolds looks for the inside but decides not. But in the first part of this race, these two came very close to knocking each other off. So I think maybe John Reynolds and Terry Rymer will be giving each other a little more room in this second part. That's the best start we've seen from John Reynolds all day. So, but remember, he has to get over 2 seconds in front of Brian Morrison to take this part of the race, this second leg. He needs to be at least 2 seconds in front of number 6, Brian Morrison.
Well, knowing Terry Reimer the way I do, and also John Reynolds, I am almost sure that they will have had quiet words with each other about the touching incident, and quite possibly an apology maybe from John as to the effect, well, I'm sorry, mate, I didn't mean to lean on you quite as much as I did. And Terry probably said something to the effect, I didn't know you were that close. But certainly there appears to be no ill feeling. The only thing it's done for Terry Reimer has made him realise that he's got to go for it from the word go, and the Norton number 23 is leading the two Kawasaki teamsters who have absolutely dominated 750cc racing, having won twos all over the country in recent months in the UK, and these three now are pulling out ahead of Robert Dunlop, number 20. Oh, and that's Reynolds, got it all wrong there. So John Reynolds is really overcooking the job today, Steve. That's incredible.
Well, this isn't doing his championships any good. He'll be keen to get back on the track, but with all the traffic there, he just went in there too hot. He went in there really, really fast. Terry Reimer went out wide at that point, so he got offline, but that was just doing John Reynolds is no good at all. He'd have been much better off sticking to a second spot, but he's back on the track. You see he's coming on the inside. He's got in there too fast, much too fast. He lost the front end, then lost the rear end, gets on the grass. At this point, there's nothing you can do but just keep it smooth. Don't put the brakes on, don't put the power on, just cruise as slowly as you can. You saw him come back out onto the track.
John Reynolds' motocross experience stood him in good stead then, because he took to the grass at something in excess of 80 miles an hour and managed to keep it upright and managed to get it pulled up in a straight line. Robert Dunlop, number 20, Rob McElnay, number 1. Then it's Jamie Whittam, number 5 on the Suzuki. Then pushing hard, that's number 30, and that's Sean Emmett. So Sean Emmett from Camberley on the yellow bike behind Jamie Whittam, having adapted to the 750 very quickly. Sean Emmett rides the 600cc super sport machine with equal prowess, but my goodness me, he's going well here. He's in hot company too, mixing it with the very best in the country. Robert Dunlop in 4th place, ahead of him reigning champion Rob McElnay, whose title, and I have to be fair, is now slipping away from him. It doesn't look as though Rob McElnay is going to retain that number 1 plate for the 1993 season. He'll be carrying something less conspicuous, I think. But look at Morrison. Morrison, number 6, now closing on the number 23 Norton of Terry Reimer. Norton lead, Norton 3rd, and right in the middle, Kawasaki.
Once again, Brian Morrison doesn't actually have to be in front on the road. He's leading the race on aggregate. He's quite happy to sit behind Terry Reimer. He will win the second leg here today by just doing that. But I'm not sure what went on. I think Ron Williams from the Norton team must have made some adjustments to Terry Reimer's bike. It's looking much better. They have a modified suspension system on it now, which they call the reactive suspension, and it's acting like a double spring effect, so that the machine doesn't squat so much at the rear. And during the stoppage, there's a possibility that they made some adjustments on this bike. But Morrison's the man now. He's very, very close to Terry Reimer, but he won't pass him on the straight, I don't believe.
Now the computer here telling us that John Reynolds, number 3, is still motoring on down in 7th place. Well, if we can get that confirmed, we'll bring it to you. So number 3 Reynolds still going well, and if he's down in 7th, which he appears to, judging by the computer, then he is still in with a chance. Reimer then scorching through. Number 23, what a brilliant piece of luck, and I think one man's misfortune is another man's good fortune in motorcycle racing. And earlier on, Terry Reimer, who finished 6th in the British Grand Prix at his first attempt with a true 500cc Grand Prix bike, was quoted as saying, well, okay, maybe I'd have been happy with 9th, but I got 6th by virtue of the fact that 3 other people fell off. Steve, that's all in the game.
Very much so, and you have to cross the line to finish the race, and that's what it's all about. I mean, if you're easier on your machine and not as hard and more sympathetic with the machine, then you can sometimes finish the race, and that's what it's all about. You have to be consistent as well as being fast.
This little battle now between Robert Dunlop, number 20, and Jamie Whittam hotting up, because right with them too is number 46, Mark Farmer. There he is on the Roton. So Mark Farmer getting his act together well and truly. And I think that maybe we could well see the number 20 Norton go under the hammer of the 28-year-old Farmer from Crawley in Sussex, and Dunlop almost on the grass. Mark Farmer in the slipstream of the factory Norton. He's on the inside, having a good hard look at Coppice, with 3 and a little bit laps to do. Now they're coming on to the faster part of the circuit. Let's see what the Roton has to offer. He's going round the outside. That's a bold attempt in the slipstream now behind the factory Norton. And Robert Dunlop's bike is very quick, but look at Mark Farmer too.
Yeah, there's very little difference in the speed. I would say that the Norton still just has the edge, but probably that's a lot to do with the fact that Robert Dunlop's such a small guy. He probably only weighs about 8 stone, and power to weight ratio does come into it a great deal. You can see Jamie Whittam's style there, number 5 again, really hanging off the machine, flicking it left through the gooseneck. 85, 90 mile an hour, accelerating hard down here to Mansfield, braking down into second gear, 60 miles an hour, hard on the gas at this point.
Suzuki underneath Jamie Whittam, absolutely wringing its neck. James squeezing the throttle as hard as he can to get every inch of power as he soars over the mountain with a magnificent wheelie down towards Hall Bends. Right, left, and right again. And the tightest and slowest part of the circuit, the hairpin, about 25 miles an hour around there. That's pretty tight. And down then to Barn, which is the adverse camber corner under the trees. Sometimes gets just a little bit damp. And then the start-finish line ahead of them. Still a scrap raging behind Jamie Whittam between Mark Farmer and Robert Dunlop. Sean Emmett then is behind Farmer, then Jeremy McWilliams, number 10, is also well placed. So the Ducati that Williams is on, bellowing its way around the Cadwell Park circuit. These 2 rotary engine bikes giving us a bit of activity in 4th and 5th places respectively.
Whittam's style there again, you see the whole body leaning off that machine, really gets his weight on the inside, tries to keep the bike more upright. Totally different styles. You can see the Robert Dunlop behind who just puts his knee out. And this is the part in the circuit where Whittam had his little moment earlier on in the day, went across the grass there, but he's left himself plenty of room at this point. Extremely late on the brakes, James Whittam. It's his, he excels on braking late.
4th place then, number 5. So the caption already out of date by the time it came up. Jamie Whittam had scooped past the 2 rotary engine, the Norton and the Roton. So Whittam then is in 4th place behind number 1, Rob McElnay. Jamie Whittam, number 5 on the Suzuki. So the caption, of course, giving us the aggregate. My apologies. This, the position on the road. Tremendous ride by Whittam. Terry Reimer still leaving Morrison in his wake. Jamie Whittam ahead of the Norton and the Roton, who are closing up again on the Suzuki rider. Those 6 are beginning to open out. Jamie Whittam looking just a little bit ragged again.
Well, Jamie always, he says himself he looks a little dangerous, and he certainly did. He came out of Barn Corner there, leaving a huge black line as he got that Suzuki sliding sideways. And you can see the speed now. Robert Dunlop's Norton just passes Jamie Whittam like he's standing still. There's 10 miles an hour difference there. The Robert Dunlop's now nipped past Jamie Whittam, which will help on aggregate his overall position.
Dunlop still having to work hard to shake off Jamie Whittam, who's giving the crowd here something to thrill about. They've had 1 or 2 delays in the proceedings for the afternoon stoppages, and that's Reynolds again. So John Reynolds' race is very definitely over this time. That has left the championship wide open for the number 23 Norton rider, Terry Reimer. Not a happy day for John Reynolds, having taken the first leg, but things went very wrong for him, Steve, in the second leg. Just a little bit maybe over-ambitious. Whittam going through again ahead of Robert Dunlop, not giving an inch. Jamie Whittam knows he has everything to go for and wants to improve his point standings in the tally, as of course to all the other riders.
Yeah, Jamie certainly gives it 110%, and he's pushing. Look at the distance he's made up on Robert Dunlop through the twisty sections there, but unfortunately I think he's going to lose all that. Robert Dunlop now on the start and finish straight, reaching speeds of about 160 before they break here for Coppice corner, but look, he's closed that gap in already, and now he's going to close it in on the start on the main straight, and I think he'll perhaps nip back past Jamie Whittam. Whittam will use all the track he can, but on the straights there's nothing you can do.
Factory Norton versus the Roton, and Jamie Whittam on the blue Suzuki on the left-hand side, but the two rotary bikes went past on sheer power, and this is Whittam on the brakes. Look at Mark Farmer, number 46, went in there really hot and deep, but he's managed to pull that one off really well. That elevates Farmer to 4th place. Number 46, Mark Farmer, then has rocketed into 4th. There's Rob McElnay, number 1. There's Mark Farmer in 4th. And that is a terrific result. If he could just hang on to this, there's about half a lap left to do. Steve, what about that? He's getting better by the inch.
Yeah, and that didn't do Jamie Whittam any good. I think it took him by surprise as Mark went straight by the two of them. So that's a great move by Mark Farmer. And now there's absolutely no chance they can get back past him. There's no passing places left. The only chance I think Jamie Whittam has here is at the hairpin. If he's going to pass Robert Dunlop, he could just do it at the hairpin, but that's his only chance.
The checkered flag in sight then for Terry Reimer. He'll be thrilled with this one. Reimer gets in from Morrison on the Kawasaki. A great ride for Terry Reimer. Rob McElnay gets 3rd. Mark Farmer gets 4th. And Robert Dunlop just pips Jamie Whittam for 5th. But a brave, brave ride by Jamie Whittam for 6th place. But there's your winner, 23 on the Norton. Terry Reimer will hang on to the championship lead. Overall winner on aggregate, however, of the 2 legs, John Reynolds' teammate Brian Morrison on the Kawasaki, number 6. He'll be well pleased with his day's work here at Cadwell. After another sensational 2-part 750cc race, the overall result went to Brian Morrison, number 6, from Terry Reimer on the Norton, McElnay, Farmer, Dunlop and Jamie Whittam, and of course John Reynolds didn't feature because he retired in part 2. And Brown, the reigning champion, is on pole position. Wolsey Coulter and Eugene McManus, the 2 Ulstermen. Max Vincent, brother of the series leader, and Jamie Robinson, who will be riding in the 250cc Grand Prix, is the 5th fastest qualifier. Watch the lights, red go to green in the blinking of an eye, and down towards Old Hall Corner they go, and number 15, McManus, eclipse into the first turn, but it really was a good start for him. He started in the middle of the front row, and he's leading. McManus, number 15, out in front. Now he is sitting currently in 7th place in the championship, and he's on form because he finished 3rd at Snetterton. That tells me he's got a very quick motorcycle, and already opening up something of a cushion. Eugene McManus leads. Also running in this race is Fernando Mendes, who we know better as a 125cc rider. He was also on the 2nd row. 15, Eugene McManus, it is leading. In 2nd place, it's number 14, and that's Jamie Robinson. So very much the youngsters at the front of this pack. 14, Robinson. Then 13 coming out of the slipstream as well, Max Vincent. So from the front row, Max Vincent, McManus, Robinson, and these 4 now stretching away.
In the second bunch, we've got Wolsey Coulter, who performed very well during qualifying, and also Jason Vincent, and they're catching up. So I think as things settle down, the riders obviously tiptoeing around. There has been a few spots of rain. They're not quite sure of the track surface conditions, so it's going to take a couple of laps for them to get into full swing. But it's Jamie Robinson now that's taken up the running, the young 18-year-old. Jamie Robinson, his first season of 250cc racing from Max Vincent, Fernando Mendes. And Fernando Mendes is getting pressurised now, and it's Eugene McManus that goes underneath Mendes. And McManus runs wide because of it. He's going to pay the price, and Wolsey Coulter's going to pass him down the avenue as they go down towards Cascades. But it's still Jamie Robinson at the front.
Race leader then, as Roger said, 14, Jamie Robinson. In 2nd place, it's 13, Max Vincent, who was there on the front row. Fernando Mendes in 3rd place, number 23, having a superb ride in his first season on a 250cc motorbike as well. He's quite a big chap, actually, and although he's tended to race 125s throughout his career, it strikes me that maybe with the size of his frame, physical frame that is, not the frame on the motorbike, he might be better suited to a 250. Certainly here, he's putting in a good result this far. Number 47 there going well, also in 4th place it is Wolsey Coulter. So Wolsey Coulter on the Aprilia, which is Ian Newton's last year's bike. Number 47 Wolsey Coulter in 4th place. Race leader though still Jamie Robinson, number 14, and Mendes 23rd, 23 in 2nd. Max Vincent now leading, I beg your pardon. 13, Max Vincent stole the march on Robinson, number 14. So number 13 it is Max Vincent, brother to the series leader, Jason Vincent. Paul Brown, the reigning champion, is down in 8th, and number 12, the series leader, is in 7th. So 2 men there with a lot of work to do.
Well, bike number 47, who's 4th, Wolsey Coulter, he's the danger man. He's the man that I think is going to get on terms with these leading few. And there he is, he's got the red and orange helmet, 47, Wolsey Coulter, and he's the man that's getting on terms now with the guys at the front. Max Vincent, in fact, the race leader. Look at Wolsey Coulter go down the straight. That's an ex-Ian Newton Aprilia. So now we've got Wolsey Coulter up to 3rd on the ex-Ian Newton Aprilia. As I say, I don't know where Ian Newton is at this stage. We'll bring you an update on that as and when. But Paul Brown is struggling. Paul Brown, don't forget, the pole position leader, pole position setter, is sort of down in 7th or 8th place. So I think that Jamie Robinson is sort of losing a bit of ground on Max Vincent there, but Wolsey Coulter definitely the danger man, Barry.
Well, this is something of a sensation, really, as you say. 47 Coulter there, lurking in 3rd behind Jamie Robinson, but Max Vincent seems to be getting better throughout the 1994 season. His best results in this series, certainly, was a 9th place at Mallory Park, 4th at the Donington round just last week, and he's now going from strength to strength. Vincent from Earl Shilton, son of Chris Vincent, the world-famous sidecar racer, many time Isle of Man competitor, former British champion, with 2 sons in this race. Max is leading, and Jason, whilst leading the championship, is still in 7th place. 2nd, Jamie Robinson. There's Wolsey Coulter, number 47, in 3rd on the Aprilia, the distinctive rear end of the Aprilia. Then Fernando Mendes, but Coulter now is closing. Fernando Mendes is dropping off the tail end now of this chasing bunch. Number 15, Eugene McManus, also going well, but the race leader, Max Vincent.
Mendes was out in the 125cc race earlier today, so he was strong to the opening few laps, but he's dropping off. He's down in 6th place now. We've got Paul Brown and Ian Newton coming up to join the leading 6. So after this 6, you can then see Ian Newton on the blue bike in the background, coming out of the chicane now, followed by Paul Brown, bike number 1, Steve Salford, bike number 3. So 3 of the top men there chasing this preceding 6-man pack.
In 5th place and riding really hard now is number 26, Ian Challoner. Ian Challoner, number 26. There he is, closing on the back of this man, number 15, who's just set the fastest lap. So Challoner from Stafford, number 26, a look over the shoulder. He means business. He really has got the leading bunch firmly in his sights. And Challoner hasn't really featured thus far in the championship. He's always shown an immense amount of talent and ability, but always seems to fail to deliver the goods for mechanical reasons, or alternatively he might just throw it away. But certainly in 5th place now, Ian Challoner there right on the tail end. Look at Vincent now, the race leader, coming under pressure. 13, then Vincent leads. Number 4, oh, look at them swarming all over each other. The Aprilia, Wolsey Coulter's Aprilia going well. Jamie Robinson still poised in 2nd place. Well, Roger, this is really a totally unpredictable fight.
we haven't seen the man yet that could easily win this race, and he's in 7th place at the moment. It's Ian Newton. I'm surprised that we haven't seen a caption flash up to say that he's the fastest man on the track. There he is, look, number 6, the blue bike. That's the man who I predict is the fastest man on the circuit at the moment. It normally takes Ian Newton a while to wind the Aprilia up, but he's got a very, very quick bike indeed. It'd be interesting to see if Ian Newton is the fastest man on the track, and I've got confirmation that is with my expert eye, should I say, but Ian Newton is the fastest man on the track, and he's the guy right on the back of the bunch now that's the threat to everyone.
But the man who's got his second-hand machine is leading the race. Last year's bike, number 47, Wolsey Coulter, Ian Newton's old bike, is leading the race. So the Aprilia, as I said, very fast motorcycles. Aprilia leads. Ian Newton's Aprilia on the outside of Fernando Mendes, further back. Ian Challinger's right in the middle of that lot. Wolsey Coulter, Jamie Robinson, Max Vincent in that order. Vincent number 13, then it's Ian Challinger and Eugene McManus number 15. McManus number 15, and through on the inside, up to 4th place goes Ian Challinger. And he knows they're closing. He's in 4th. Eugene McManus climbing all over him. He's gone past, so's Newton. So a bold move indeed put Challinger up to 4th, and in the blinking of an eye, he was back down to 6th.
What a fantastic race. This is lap 6 of 10, as you can see there from the caption. And it's Wolsey Coulter on the old Aprilia from Robinson. But look at Ian Newton working his way up. A real expert, Ian Newton. Riding with a lot of experience, done Grand Prix racing, done European Championships. And he established himself this year as saying, I would like to win the British Championship, and he's certainly riding very, very well indeed.
Steve Salford, number 3, has also nailed himself onto the back of that bunch. Steve Salford, a former Super Cup champion, is there. But this is really bad news for the series leader, Jason Vincent, who is languishing much further down the order in 8th place. Race leader, Wolsey Coulter, number 47. Then Ian Newton is looking hard at 3rd. Still Jamie Robinson in the lead. Jamie Robinson now, number 14. So the man who will represent Great Britain at the Donington Grand Prix in July in the 250cc race as one of the wildcard entries is leading the race. No, he isn't. Coulter's taken it back again. And this is the way this 10-lap 250cc tussle has developed. It's a freight train of activity. Robinson from Coulter, number 47. Newton, number 6 on the Aprilia. Then McManus. Then early race leader Max Vincent with the yellow bike is slipping further down the order. Jamie Robinson, having switched to 250s this year, doing a sterling job, keeping his bike, his Japanese bike, ahead of the two Italian, very rapid Aprilias.
Doing an exceptional job, and I think it's been a surprise to a lot of people that Jamie Robinson has adapted so quickly to the 250, because he tried his hand at 125 racing, very competitive 125, but he's done exceptionally well, Jamie Robinson, the leader of this race, to adapt himself to 250, and he's a young guy, so a great future ahead of him. But it's Robinson from Coulter from Newton, and Newton's looking threatening. He's got to get past Coulter. This is getting towards the closing stages of the race now, and I would expect that whoever was going to win would be planning their move from now. But these first 3, Barry, look like they've broken away.
Number 6, Ian Newton, winner at Donington, 3rd in the championship at the moment. Is this going to be the year for Ian Newton to lift a major national title? No title is more prominent than the Super Cup Series as we cover it here on Grandstand, and that's the one Ian Newton would desperately like to win. Vincent now in 5th. Ian Challinger down the order now in 6th, but as Roger Burnett said, the leading 3 really have a scrap on. Wolsey Coulter will be getting pit signals. He's in 2nd place with 2 laps to go. He will be getting the signals, but Ian Newton, number 6, is breathing down his neck if he doesn't know already. The Yamaha of Jamie Robinson, number 14, doing a fantastic job out the front. Now let's see if the Aprilia of Wolsey Coulter comes past, and Robinson down under the Perspex bubble, and he's on the outside. A super line through there. Jamie Robinson doing a terrific job. Has he got the maturity at 18 to hold on under this pressure?
Well, he's certainly got youth on his side, and that counts for a lot, Barry. I can qualify that, but Robinson is not used to leading a race like this, of this standard, particularly at this circuit, Alton Park. So he can't see what we can see, and we can see where the other bikes are slower and where they're faster than his bike. He doesn't know that. He's got to keep his head under the bubble, knee touching the road as he skims through Knickerbrook there, 120 miles an hour. As I say, he's got to keep his head under the bubble and just go for it, because he can't see what we can see. And really, Ian Newton, at the end of the day, has got to be the man that looks like the winner to me at this stage.
Well, has the 31-year-old Newton got anything left? It looks pretty impressive as he just lines himself up into Old Hall before they, I beg your pardon, before they drop away. Over the line, Dearsley, that was, now Old Hall coming up, Wolsey Coulter, Newton just having a look, Wolsey Coulter hits the front, Jamie Robinson, number 14, and still hanging on the back is Eugene McManus, number 15, having a sensational ride, but Aprilia leads. Yamaha is the Japanese meat in the Italian sandwich here. And ahead again goes the Yamaha. They are neck and neck along Lakeside into the left-hander. The sharp banked right-hand turn will be next. Up towards the Shell Oils hairpin. Jamie Robinson just has to keep his head now. Eugene McManus has also got himself in the action. He's come to play as well with the big boys because they really are working hard now. Wolsey Coulter in second place. Ian Newton, I'm not so sure, Roger, that Newton can pull something out of the bag unless you know something I don't.
I wouldn't say that I know anything that you don't know, Barry, but look at this, has Newton come through? Yes, Newton's through. Prediction there, Barry. Now, the thing is, the Aprilia, which is now first and second, is a rotary valve, so it sucks the fuel through a disc valve, and it's difficult to set the carburation for it on slower corners. So on a slower corner, it's not so good. Faster corners, it's very good. But Ian Newton is in front, and Wolsey Coulter's trying to go up the inside. Wolsey Coulter, it's not all over between Coulter and Newton. So still a good scrap, and Jamie Robinson's still up there with Eugene McManus. So anything can happen for it, Barry.
Last lap then, one lap to do, and it really is a battle royal. I can't believe that number 14, Jamie Robinson, is going to settle for third after having had a taste of freedom at the front of this race. Ian Newton, though, leads on the Aprilia, number 6. Wolsey Coulter, number 47. They've turned this race into a spectacle here at Alton Park. Round 5, still 6 more 250cc races to go this season, but it's looking as though Ian Newton is putting his stamp on this one. Robinson dives up into second place, so splitting the Aprilias again, and it's not all over yet. Robinson really working hard on the Yamaha. Wolsey Coulter, oh, and they touched, and Coulter's on the grass. Wolsey Coulter's down. Oh, that's bad news for the Ulsterman. He will be devastated. But that was a result, tell us, Roger, a bit naughty.
Yeah, that was a bit naughty. I don't think there was any need for that. They were both going for the same part of the road, and neither would give in, and that's what happens. Wolsey Coulter got his front wheel clipped, lost control of the bike, got on the grass. He knew that he was going to have to lay the bike down to avoid running into these guys as they went through the chicane. But it's Ian Newton now. Looks like a clear-cut winner from Jamie Robinson, with Eugene McManus there coming in third. And Newton's looking behind him there. It's virtually all over, Barry.
Well, breathtaking action right to the last minute. But whatever the tactics employed by Jamie Robinson, they guaranteed him second place. Eugene McManus, a fantastic race for him. Commiserations, I think, go to Wolsey Coulter because he was having the race of his life and he was robbed, I have to say. He was robbed, totally dejected, but there's the winner. 2 wins in this series so far for Ian Newton, 2 on the trot. What will that do to the title standings? Confirmation then of that result, and it was a blistering win after breathtaking race, all 10 laps of it. Ian Newton from Jamie Robinson, Eugene McManus Max Vincent held on for fourth. Steve Salford and Ian Challoner picked himself up 10 points with sixth place. Championship leader Jason Vincent could do no better than 12th.
So this is the incident that cost Wolsey Coulter his second position in the race. You can see he went up the inside there. Jamie Robinson couldn't have possibly known that he was there. He had to lose control of the machine. He went on the grass, then he laid the bike down so as not to hit Jamie Robinson for a second time as he was coming through the chicane. Very disappointing there for Wolsey Coulter.
And doesn't that make it interesting? Jason Vincent just 2 points clear of Paul Brown. Newton then right in the frame. Robinson, Salford, Eugene McManus not a million miles away. This is going to be some 250cc championship.